Alright, what's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be going over my live day trading session. Today I traded some SPY options. I took a total of 3 trades. I'll be going over my mistakes, um, my pre-market analysis, and also diving into some order flow and level 2 time and sales. Just give you an overall understanding on what made me decide to take these trades. And once again, the mistakes that I made and some of the things that I did right. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, as you guys can see so this is my pre-market analysis. This is for Tuesday, January 27th, 2026, and what you guys are looking at here is the SPY chart. SPY being the S&P 500, and this right here is this is the 30-minute chart. This one down here is the order book. This is Bookmap, or it shows order flow, but we'll get into that next. So over here on the SPY 30-minute chart, it's trading at its all-time highs, which is an area of demand, and has previously rejected here 7 times, including today's pre-market. As you guys can see, it's an area of demand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. An area of demand being an area in which demand outweighs supply, and this leads in many cases for it to have a push downward. As you guys can see, when it reached this area, it had pulled down, reached this area, pull down, reach this area, pull down, and then it ended up having a breakdown. And then as you guys can see here, this is an area of supply and an area of demand. Okay, so yesterday's buyers stepped in aggressively and gave no room to the downside. Will we have something similar today? If it breaks out and retests, looking for possible long trades. If selling pressure steps in the zone that it has stepped in before, would be looking for an entry to the downside based off of previous history. So if it came, retouch this, and I would see selling pressure, I would be looking to take this stock on to the downside based off of what we can see before, based off of the data we have. And if it shows strength to the upside, if it breaks out, meaning it breaks out of its demand zone, and if buyers are willing to pay higher prices and this demand zone becomes an area of supply, I'll be looking to take this for a long. Let's be patient and let the buyers and sellers fight. And if an entry presents itself, we'll be looking to capitalize, right? Easier said than done. Easier said than done. ES. So this is the S&P 500, but this is the futures. The future for the S&P. And I wrote selling orders are present to the upside as circled. We don't see real buyers in the market as of this screenshot until the 699 level. Yeah, okay, where I circled down here. Looking to be patient as of now and see how these levels react, or if any changes occur. Looking to play on the side of whoever's winning, if and only if an entry shows up. So going over this, I was looking to be patient today. I was looking to, I had wrote that all down. It was way easier said than done. I was in complete honesty. I had some form of bias in this stock. I was looking for and I was anticipating a move to the downside, and you guys can see how my bias ended up affecting my overall trading day. And this is something similar that happened yesterday. I was looking to short the market when it just completely went parabolic. Today, I was looking once again to short the market. So let's get into this. Okay, so we have the market open here. I think so on the bottom right it shows that it's 9:33, and I got this S&P 500 open. Looking to be patient, right? Looking to be patient. Uh, it came down, it found an area of support right here, and then made a push to the upside. So, and then it came back up. It had a really big push to the downside. And so what we can see here after the first couple minutes of the trading day is that it's trading in an area in which buyers are buying it here, sellers are selling it here. So they're agreeing on price in a sense, and I mean that in the fact that it's not going either way. You know, it's just chopping around. Buyers and sellers are agreeing on the price that is shown, and there's no real winner on as of yet. So I was looking to be patient. It broke down. I see the selling pressure come in. Huge selling pressure actually. So still being patient, looking to see how this reacts. I think 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the trading day has came up, and then looking oh, you know what? Actually, this is funny enough, but I just missed it. As you guys can see, I have 3 contracts looking to purchase this stock. I had my finger on the trigger at 86, looking to get like a just 3 cent stop loss, right? Or 6 cents, 6 cent stop loss. I wasn't. I was looking to take this trade right here. I was looking to take the trade. I seen a good enough bias, a good enough amount of buyers. I meant not bias. And as you guys can see on the level 2 with the size, we see 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 720. And if you go here, it's 400, 100, 1,000, 800, 500. It's not as much as the amount of buyers. So I was looking to purchase this. It just kind of went too quick for me. And I think this is what led me to, you know, end up chasing and reacting the way I reacted in the market. So, yeah, as I was showing you guys, I was looking to get into 86 with a stop loss that it would have been like 81 cents, so like 2 cents under the bottom, right? And this is when I'm like, damn. Because that risk reward, I mean, it's up about at 1.30 cents, and I was risking 5 cents. It would have been a 6-1. I think it was a great idea, especially wanting to play into the buying, so the buying pressure that we had since yesterday. This was my best idea of the day, and it's an idea that I missed, which I think end up causing me to react the way I reacted, and you guys will see in a bit. So as you guys can see, I completely missed this whole move. It's up about 40 cents now on 5 cent risk. That's like an 8-1. Not saying I would have caught the whole thing, but if I'm purchasing this right here, right, the next real resistance on the stock, if this is an area of supply, the area of demand would have been over here, an area in which sellers had stepped in, and then this would have been the area in which buyers had stepped in. So this would have been my entry, so it would have been my exit. Once again, this is theoretical, but this was the idea. I really could have got that if I was able to capitalize it, and I wasn't. So as you guys can see here, I'm like, okay. At this point, I had a sense of bias, right? I had a sense of bias. I'm like, okay, it's higher. It's higher. It's trading at a higher price in which I could have originally purchased it at. I don't want to pay this price. You know, this is my mentality going into it. I'm like, the risk reward is not as good. It is pretty good, actually. Looking at it, hindsight, after the fact, it is pretty good because it's still, this is an area of demand. This was the area of supply. And buyers are pretty much showing that they're willing to purchase higher prices. And they're now testing this resistance, this area of demand that, you know, was there pre-market. This would have been a good trade. This would have been a good trade. And I didn't see it in the moment. I was just thinking emotionally at this point, in complete honesty. I was thinking emotionally because I didn't want to pay that higher price. I didn't want to pay that $1 when I was in my head fixated on the fact that I could have got it at 84 cents, right? And so this was very detrimental to my trading. So this ended up going up, as you guys can see. Up. And so now I'm looking to purchase put options. I'm looking to purchase put options. I'm like, damn. You know, I missed the move I wanted to take. I missed the move I wanted to take. Now let's get into this and try for the downside. I tried it here in an area in which sellers were starting to step in. As you guys can see, there's a huge selling print and some pretty big lot sizes, right? I see some selling pressure, but really the selling pressure never really took over in this area. And this is an area in which it had made a strong push up. It already pulled back, and it's already having its continuation higher. This is just me trying to beat the market. I think this was me just trying to be smarter than the market and not really look at cause I let a couple seconds go by, but look at this. Sellers are still outweighing the buyers, as you guys can see by this order book. Buyers are still outweighing the sellers. If we skip a couple seconds, you guys can still see buyers outweighing the sellers. So this is just my idea, you know. I was fixated on the fact that I think I missed it, and I just wanted to beat the market. I wanted to prove it wrong. So then it pushed higher, was pushing higher. I think this actually was a good idea because this red zone is an area of demand. This is an area of demand because on the chart, as I was showing you guys earlier, if I could pull it up here, this is an area in which the market has rejected multiple times. So it's nearing this level. This was a good idea to short. This wasn't that bad of an idea. So the context was good. Where I wanted to trade this at was a good idea. And I was just looking for sellers to step in. Sellers never stepped in. As you guys can see, I can go back 10 seconds. Buyers are outweighing the sellers. Sellers are there. You know, so I never got that confirmation. Let's see when I enter. Sellers are starting to step in. As you guys can see, sellers are starting to step in. I look to try it. There. Sellers are starting to try to make a fight. Sellers are starting to try to make a fight, but buyers are still outweighing it. In this instant, it would have just been best to just get out of the trade. I think. I was up at one point, so I almost completely made back my first loss. So this area, this was good. Sellers were stepping in. I didn't get that original confirmation when I got into the trade. I got it when I saw a bit of sellers getting in. But then, you know, this at least had more context in which compared to the first trade, right? The first trade should have never been taken. That was a loss I could have avoided. The second trade, we have context. We have a reasoning on why we're shorting it in this specific zone. We saw some sellers step in. We got in with the sellers. We're looking for this continuation to the upside. I mean, to the downside. Seeing if selling pressure can continue. And buyers step in. Buyers step in. Buyers step in. Just buyers are outweighing the sellers completely. So I just let it do its thing. I let it do its thing. I set up my stop loss, set up my target, just trying to trade systematically, you know, knowing where I would get out if my thesis was invalidated and if my thesis was correct, looking where I would be wanting to take profits at, you know, where I would be comfortable setting up my target. So my target would have been about here on this chart. It would have been about here by this area. And as you guys can see, the stock just kept pushing up, showing strength, completely obliterating my stop. Buyer stepped in. Oh, and then I try it again. So I try it again. This is just emotional. This is just that second trade was good. Second trade was good. First trade, should have never taken that. This third trade, at this point, I'm just trying to be right. I'm just trying to be right. So as you guys can see, it's creating an area of demand. We see sellers are present. This wasn't the worst trade, but this wasn't. It was just at this point it was just me trying to predict the top of this, you know, which is never a good idea. So as you guys can see, at one point I started getting in the money, started making a bit of money, started seeing the turnaround that I wanted to see with selling pressure in the stock, looking to see if it can have a continuation to the downside. It's finding an area of support. Sellers are still present. Looking to see if this can have a continuation and just be patient. Started breaking out some more. And then I end up getting stopped out. This trade right here was me trying to be right, but at the same time, you know, me trying to be right and emotional in the sense that you know, I wasn't managing this trade the way I should have. I should have just set up my stop loss and just let it go. This would have been a much better idea. But the reason why I got stopped out is because, as you guys can see, I moved my stop up. I moved my stop up from my original stop loss, which was at 47 cents. And this was the emotional side of the trading. I didn't hit my 1-to-1, my 1.5 to 1. That's when I usually go to break even. I usually go to break even, which I want to take my risk off of the table. I usually go to break even. I move my stop loss to break even when I'm hitting 1.5 ish to 1, right? Like when I'm near to hitting my target, you know, or halfway there, I'll move my stop up. But I moved my stop up before that. And this was an emotional trade because of the management of the stock, because as you guys can see, what ends up happening is this stock freaking crashed without me. So my thesis was correct, you know, me trying to short it here, This was a good idea. Me trying to short it here, this was a B plus setup, you know? This was a B plus setup. There's more context here. There's context here, but I was following just the sellers. It wasn't really an area. It was above demand, but there wasn't as much context. This showed previous history. This was the breakout, and then pretty much the failure to go higher, and then a continuation to the downside. I wasn't in the trade to capitalize it on it. When if I were to hold my stop, not as tight. If I would have gone in and not have my stop as tight, I probably would have been still in this trade, possibly. Because my stop loss was at 47 cents. It went down to a low of 46. So I had tapped 47 cents. I don't know if I would have been in this trade to capitalize on it because of that reason. But the idea was correct, The idea was correct, and as you guys can see, where it came back to was around my area, my targeted area. And here it just it had its really nice bounce. It had its really nice bounce to the upside. This was at what, 10:07? I wanna let me see if I can find this. No, I won't be able to. But this was a really good trade as well. This was a really good trade as well because on the order flow, this is an area where buyers had set up some limit orders, and pretty much it was an area of absorption. This is an area of supply, and then this was the area of demand. And so that was this stock today was on the buy side. The money was on the buy. I was trying to short it. I was betting against the stock. And yeah, I think the stop loss that I had was a little too tight for me to be able to withstand this choppiness. But overall, this was a pretty good trade. This was a pretty good trade. The way I managed it wasn't the best. This trade was a good trade. The way I managed it was perfect. I got out when I needed to. And I think I had another trade right down here. That was just dumb. This trade was just it was just really dumb. So overall, I think I had two pretty good ideas. I tried to short it here. And then I tried it again. But I think the real good trade was this one. This right here, this dip buy. Hindsight, right? But it's because on the order book, on the book map, you were able to see pretty much like a dark red line, which pretty much indicates limit orders, and it was trading. It was those limit orders were under the trading price, which means they're buy limit orders. So they had a huge amount of buy limit orders at the bottom of this candle, and it just came back, absorbed all the selling pressure, and it immediately got back up, targeting the demand zone. So this was the supply, this was the area of demand. This would have been a really good trade. I think the only good trade here would have been finding that area of resistance. Many times it won't give you a re-entry, but at least this was able to come down. You find an area of support, pushes back up, and an immediate failure. I think this would have been, if able to capitalize, I think this would have been the best short idea. To be able to short here, have a stop to the top, targeting at least, the low of this what's it called, of this wick, you know so short, cover here. And if able to cover, I mean, and if able to get a move any lower like this move that we were anticipating, I think that would have been the best trading setup, because it had context, an overextended move. It had an area in which demand exceeded supply, came back, retested it in an immediate failure, lower high. So buyers didn't pay the price as high as they paid before, which is a sign that buyers are weak. Would have been looking to get into a short trade, cover at the top above these highs, with a target at the bottom of this wick, or if possible, this move would have been nice too. And then this area, this buy, this on the buy side, would have been extremely good, because it came back, it touched an area in which buyers were present, and then it came into an area in which sellers, showed pressure at. That would have been the two really good trades right there. And later on, I think it did it once again. I don't know if I got enough recording for it. No, I don't have enough recording for it, but I would like to show you guys this. Um, this was another area of supply. So this dip right here is the one that we noted. We noted this dip, right? And I was saying this would have been a pretty good buy. This dip as well was showing up on the order book. It was showing like a wall of buyers. It came back into this area, and then look, what's interesting is, even if you just looked at this at a technical stance, this is an area of demand, 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 right? On the 30-minute candle, you can see this is a huge area of demand zone, where demand exceeds supply, more selling pressure to the down, more selling pressure than buying, right? We can see that this became an area of supported, so that was supported. So this area in which sellers were present is now an area in which buyers are willing to purchase these prices, which is a bullish, strong sign. It shows that buyers are present in the market and they're willing to pay these prices, and then this ended up leading to a continuation into its demand zone that it created, which it rejected once, two, three, four times, and then now you're trading in the area in which it's by the area of supply. So where buyers are willing to purchase this higher price now, creating higher lows. Well, this creates a series of higher lows, right? As you guys can see. And on the order book, it was showing buyers here. This would have been a fantastic trade to take, targeting at least the morning rushes high. And yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it with today's trades. I did make some mistakes. I made some mistakes today. I was trading extremely. I traded with some bias. I gave a stab at it. And it didn't work out today. What I could have done better, at least in today's trading day, was waiting for more confirmation, waiting for setups to show, instead of trying to guess the top or catch the bottoms, looking for buyers to be present in the market, and with context, and then confirmation. So that's one thing I was doing pretty good the last couple days, up till yesterday. I've been a little bit like, I've been trigger happy, you know. And I've been trying to get into anything and everything and catching the pretty much I've just been trying to short the tops, which is in many cases it works. In many cases it works. But yesterday wasn't a day for it. Today there was shorting opportunities, but I think going throughout this week I need to be a little more patient, wait for these areas of buyers and sellers to, show themselves in the market and then be able to capitalize on either side. So looking to learn from my mistakes today, and I hope you guys found this valuable, and I hope you guys are able to learn from my mistakes as well. And if you found this valuable in any way, and if this helps you in any way, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.